Thanks for tuning in. My name is Adam. I'm going to show you how to design a little something in Fusion 360. All you're going to need is the object you're going to design. This is going to be a little bit of dry shampoo. You're going to need some calipers in whatever units you desire. And you're going to need the free version of Fusion 360. It's called the hobbyist version. You can get it from their website. And it's a great design program. You can use it to make stuff for a CNC machine. You can make stuff for a 3D printer. It's pretty great stuff. A lot to digest on Fusion 360. It's a great program, and I can't speak well enough about it. And it's free, so that's pretty cool too. What we're going to design is dry shampoo. If you're not aware, for my short-haired brethren out there, it allows you to skip a shower day, which is pretty cool. So your hair gets a little bit greasy, do a little poop into your hair, and then you're able to hide the grease. Now, however, the smell may still be there, so you're gonna have to figure something out for that. But this I chose to design because it's just a simple design, a little two-part twist function, and yeah, figured it'd be a great intro to Fusion 360. So let's go ahead and jump right into Fusion 360. And what we're going to do first, here's a brand new untitled tab, and we're going to bring up that origin by clicking that little eyeball there. And we're going to go into the orientation in the front, and you could click this, or you can hold shift and move the mouse wheel to get that orientation to where you want it. And we're going to be looking at the top down. That top down is looking as if you're looking straight at the ground, is what that top means. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our units are accurate. You can go into document settings, and right now we are designing in inches, which is what I want. My calipers are in that, and I'm more familiar with inches. And this is really important because you don't want to go through designing something, you get to the very end of it, you go to print it, and it's either super massive or it's way too small. And it's best to just get into the habit of always checking at the beginning, because you may have some design requirements that need to be in millimeters, or that doesn't matter if it's in inches. Or you could even do it in feet. You could do it in a lot of different measurements. Just make sure you check it before you start, so that way you don't have to deal with it on the back end. I found out the hard way multiple times. Make sure you check just at the beginning. So you check it, we're in inches, that's great. We're in the top function. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to click this button, which is Create Sketch, and we're going to click this plane right here at the very bottom. You see this sketch palette opened up. That means we are in the sketch function. You've got all these cool, neat things over here. You got the line, rectangle, circle, bunch of other things. For this, I need to know, how big is this going to be? The way we're going to design this is going to be in two parts. We're going to have a lower portion and an upper portion, and we're going to design it from the ground up. So if you imagine this is a table it's sitting on, we're gonna go this way, and we're gonna do it through a few extrude functions, a few circle functions, and a unique one called a shell function. So I'm gonna take my calipers, which are in inches, and I'm gonna take this as a measurement and do this a couple times. It's always a good habit to get multiple readings. I'm looking at about a 1.66 and 1.63 and 1.66. So we will stick with 1.66. So you can come up here and click Create, and then Circle, and then Diameter Circle. But what I prefer is there's a way you can set a hotkey, and I have set a hotkey of C as my circle function. So I'm just going to click that, as C, and you can see it turns into a little circle there. I'm going to orient this on the origin, which is that center circle there. And I'm gonna come out here and we're gonna do 1.66 inches. Now, the slow method is to click Finish Sketch, then you come over here, go to Create, then click Extrude, then click your option, and then extrude this out like that. There was a lot of clicks that went into that. And what I like to do is I like to design efficiently and as quickly as possible. There's always room to improve, always things I can do better at. But for this one, this is an easy one you can do right off the bat. So I'm gonna double click that, go back into the sketch. This is as if I just drew the circle now, okay? So now, you see here in the top left, there's no extrude option. You have to get out of the finish sketch. But what Fusion 360 does really well is I can just click my hotkey, which is E for extrude, and it automatically selects my circle. It gets me out of the sketch function into just the general design option in Fusion 360, and it's already selected what I just drew. So I'm gonna hold Shift and the center mouse wheel, and I'm gonna rotate this a little bit just so I can see it. And then this is just the center mouse wheel by itself. And I can click this arrow and bring it up to whatever amount I want. I'm gonna go back to my calipers, check this height of this container. We're looking at about a 4.3 and 4.3. All right, looks like it's gonna be a 4.3. All right, so that is great. I think that looks good. Now that we've created that, we're going to create a new sketch. The bottom portion is designed. Now we're gonna design this top portion. The cool thing with Fusion 360 is now that you've created a shape, if it's flat, you can sketch on it. So this top portion up here is something you can sketch on. Unfortunately, this lower portion, because it's curved, you can't sketch on it. There are options to put things on it, but that's something for a more advanced lesson. For this one, just try and keep it simple, flat things first. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit this Create Sketch, and we're gonna click this top level of the cylinder, and it's gonna orient us back into that same orientation as before. It'll look like that. You're looking at it straight on. And it's kind of confusing because you don't know if you're designing down on the bottom or on the top. But because we click the top, we know that we're designing on the top portion of that. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to get the diameter of this top portion. We're looking at about a 1.28 and 1.28. There it is, 1.28. So I'm gonna click C again because I'm in the sketch function. Click on the center. And we're looking at a 1.68. Oh, excuse me. .28. Okay. And we're gonna do the same thing as before. We're gonna press E for extrude. The nice thing is it rotated it for us this time. And we're gonna bring this out just a little bit. We're gonna verify what the height is. We're looking at about ½ an inch. So we're gonna go 0.5, click enter. And that looks pretty good. Now, the interesting thing is right now, if you come over here to the left, when you're looking at bodies, this is one body. You see, I can highlight it, send it away, and bring it back just by clicking this little eye. But because this is a turning function, this is actually two separate parts. If you were gonna print this and make this, it would become in two separate parts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and we're gonna click on that extrude function. And there's a cool thing you can do. This operation says join. So what it's doing is when it's extruding that upward, it's connecting it to the portion under it. what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this to new body and click OK. Now what that did still looks the same, but what happened now is you have two separate bodies that you can do different things to. You can hide one, bring it forward, and when you're designing things in the future, you can do things specific to body 1 that you don't want to be done to body 2. So it makes it really easy to design things at a more complex level. So that is great. We want that to be in 2 separate bodies. And what we'll do now is we are going to take this and we're gonna add in these holes. Probably can't see it, it's kind of shiny. But there's these holes that the powder comes out for when it twists. So the first thing we're gonna do is get the diameter of those circles. We're looking at about a 0.74. And we're gonna click Create Sketch up there at the top, click Circle, and come out here, and this is going to be a 0.74. One thing I'm going to do to this is I'm going to change this to be a construction circle. What that tells the system is that I don't necessarily need this to be a shape, but what I want it to do is reference the shape. And so that's why it changes it into a dotted line. I'm also going to come in here a little bit closer, and I'm going to press the L, which will make a line, and then come over here, and we're going to go up, and we're going to meet that circle. And that's great. And I'm going to change this also to a construction line, and I'm going to add a little circle. It's going to snap right to that, and I need to see how big this is going to be. So we are looking right at about 0.07. 0.07. Okay. Now, this is where the next function of the pattern comes in. There's this thing in Fusion where you can click S, and then it'll create a shortcut. It's like a little search window, and you can just say pattern. And what we're going to choose is this circular pattern. There are 2, so make sure you're choosing the right one. And clicking that there, object, we're going to click this line here. Center point, we're going to click that, and that is the origin. And you can see it automatically gave me 3. But on here, there's actually 6. So we're going to change this to 4, 5, 6. That looks good. And now while we're here, we're just going to click E to extrude, and I'm able to select all of these. And what we can do is come out a little bit, change the orientation, take this little arrow, and instead of it adding material, we're going to be taking away material. And we're just going to go down just a little bit. Just like that. And it's a cut function, that's good. And look at there. You got a little bit of holes in there. So now we're pretty close to finishing this, but there's a little bit more curvature on the actual model. We're going to add in these curves in the bottom, right there, and then there's a little one at the top. So we're going to click F, which is the fillet function. We're going to go in there, we're going to go there, and we're going to say, let's try 0.25. Okay, that's a little too much curve. Let's go 0.15. A little bit better. Let's go 0.1. All right, I'm happy with that. So now we're going to hit the fillet function again. Click up there. Let's try 0.05. And just needs a little bit. Okay. And this one is pretty close to being done. The next thing I want to show you is called the shell function. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide this and come down here. I'm just gonna create like a mini circle. So we're gonna do this. Excuse me. I'm gonna hide that second one. I'm gonna create a sketch. Come in here. We're just gonna raise this up just a little bit. Let's say 0.8 inches. And I'm gonna hit E for extrude. And we're gonna bring this out just a little bit. Okay, and this is gonna be a join function. Okay. The reason I did that is because when you use the shell function, it's gonna shell out the whole face. And because I don't want it to shell out the lid that it's holding on, I want to make sure that it only shells out the portion that's important for the powder to come out. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do that, and I'm going to click the shell option, and this is going to make it hollow. We're going to click there, and we're going to say, let's say 0.1. All right. And what that did is created a hollowed out tube for the powder to come through. And we're gonna do the same thing for the top of this. We're gonna come through here and we're gonna say shell here, and we're gonna just say 0.1 as well. And if you notice, it doesn't look right. These don't go all the way through, and it just kind of just looks off. The reason is because when we did the cut function, it brought material down, and when it did the shell, it went around those cut functions. The cool thing with Fusion is you can move the design requirement in the timeline to happen after. You don't have to go back and delete and then redo it later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this cut function, and you see I click there, and then now it's telling me, hey, that's over here. So the cool thing is I can take that and I can just say, well, let's move it down here a little bit. Let's move it a little more. Okay, there we go. And one more. And look at there. So just by moving it, you're able to make it a better design. Let's go ahead and bring that other body in there. And let's check our work. Let's see how we did. So there's this other option. You can go to inspect and then section analysis. Zoom out a little bit so we can see the origin. Let's go ahead and click that and hit OK. And what this will do is kind of show you your work. So if you were to print this out, you would have something similar to a working mechanism. Now, if you really want to get technical, there's actually supposed to be a little bit of an offset right in here that goes all the way up. So that way when you twist it, these will be covered, but that would require a little bit more design requirements. But for now, this gives you the basis of how to design something simple like that. And if you want to get out of the analysis, you could just click it here on the left, and it's back to a normal bottle. So I hope you enjoyed being able to design something as simple as a dry shampoo bottle. And it doesn't take you very long. Fusion's really fun. There's a lot you can do with it. I really hope you dive in and learn the different options you can do within it. I know I have, and I hope this video helps you out. Thank you.